Okay, second one, log base 3 of 3 to the x minus 5 equals 2. It's a log problem. All right, so there's a lot of different things you can do. What do you notice about this problem? Well, how do I get, okay, so let me rephrase so we're not seeing what we can do. I've got log base 3. How do I get rid of log base 3? A base of 3 on both sides. Base of 3 over here, base of 3 over there. If I have 3 and a log base 3, what happens? I have just that left over, and over there now I have 3 squared. You could make 3 squared 9, but you don't really want to do that here. What else could I do now that I've done that? Now I've got a base of 3 on both sides. Since I have a base of 3, that's just like this. When we had a 4 base on both sides, we could cancel that. Now we got a 3 base on both sides. Cool, we can cancel that. X minus 5 is 2. Add 5. Add 5. X is 7. Done. This one's actually even easier than that. We could have started right here. And if you would have seen log base 3 and 3 to a power, those two things right there are opposite. So they would have canceled right from the beginning. And you would have had x minus 5 equals 2, which is what we had right there. Okay, but the key to that problem was understanding the opposite of log base 3 is 3 to a power. When we do it to both sides, we can cancel. Yes, ma'am?
So if it's a 3 and another number, like this.
So anytime I have an exponent problem, we can always get rid of it by doing a log base 3. I've got a log base 3 here, so I raised it with a base of 3 on both sides. Okay, we're not going to do this forever, but we're going to do a little bit of practice here. So we're going to stay on our whiteboards and see what's going on. These are the different types of questions on tomorrow's test. Okay, we've got growth and decay problems. Those are the story problems. We do this stuff. The A equals P, 1 plus or minus RT. We got inverse problems. There are 2 steps to finding an inverse. What's the first step? Switch x and y and then solve for y. We were pretty good at those. Solving. So anytime we're doing solving problems, you've got one of 2 options. You're either going to have an exponent problem or a log problem. And you just got to figure out, what am I trying to get rid of? If I'm trying to get rid of an exponent, then do logs. If I'm trying to get rid of a log, then do exponents. And then the last one is graphing. So the graphing ones, whether it's doing inverse graphing where we flip x and y, or just graphing exponential graphs, remember those always look like that. All right, let's do a couple of each and just make sure we know what's going on here. Anthony, which category you want to do first here? Doesn't matter to you? Let's do an inverse one just because. So wonderful choice. He picks inverse 2. Let's do inverse 2 here. Nah, let's not do that one because that's going to be hard to do. Let's do this one. Sorry. Find the inverse of that. Y equals log base 4, x minus 5. On your whiteboards right now, go ahead and find the inverse of that for me. And then you're going to hold it up as you finish. 2 steps to finding an inverse. So anytime we find an inverse, same 2 steps. Step 1 is flipping the x and the y. So it's going to be x equals log base 4 of y minus 5. That's step 1. Then we're solving for y. So it's the same steps every time. Okay, Seth, if I want to get y by itself, I got to get rid of log base 4. How'd you get rid of log base 4? A base of 4 on both sides. So he's going to have a base of 4 with that power. 4 in the log base 4 cancels. Make sure it's to the x power. And then he's got y minus 5. Then he needs to finish that. What else did you do here? Just added the 5 to the other side. Add 5 to the other side. 4 to the x plus 5 equals y. That's my inverse. Questions on that one? 2 steps, flip x and y, and then, hey, we had a log, so we got rid of log by doing 4 to a power to get me that in the end. Let's do another one. So we just did that one. Let's do solving number 3. Let's see how we do with that. This is a good one to do. 4x plus 9 equals 26. Go ahead and try to solve that one. We haven't done one just like this yet. Yes, ma'am. Four to the x plus 9 equals 26. Most of us started correctly and you subtracted the 9 over. Then you get this. 4 to some power gets you 17. You know that it's going to be something around 2 because 4 squared gets you 16. It needs to be a little bit bigger than that. We need to get rid of an exponent. This is an exponent problem. X is up here. What is the opposite of 4 to a power. Log base 4. So we're going to take log base 4 on both sides. That cancels. X is equal to whatever log base 4 of 17 is. So in our calculator here, we're going to do that. So again, if you don't know how to type this in, make sure you're watching. Log base 4 of 17. We hit the math button right here. Hit the math button. We're going to scroll down until we get to log base. For me, it's letter A. You hit enter. Then you type in log base 4. Log base 4. Let me type in a 4. That's less than helpful. Log base 4 of 17. I don't know why it won't let me type right now. Sorry. Log base 4 of 17. Type it in. Hit enter. That's my answer, 2.043 or 44. And we knew it was going to be close to that because we knew 4 squared was 16. It needed to be just a little bit bigger, and that is. So x is equal to 2.044. Questions on that one? Let's do one more and we'll be done with this aspect of it. Let's do one of these real quick because we're good at them. Shouldn't be too hard. You inherit some land out in the country from an old uncle. You are told the land is worth $20,000 right now and appreciates 7% per year. How much will the land be worth in 4 years? Remember, this is your formula right here. You get to use that on the test. Make sure you know how to use it. A equals P1. It could be plus or it could be minus. You got to know the difference. RT. Look. A equals P. So my P is my starting amount. In this case, it's 20,000. Is it going to be a plus sign or a minus sign? Why plus? Appreciates. It's getting bigger. 7%. So we got to move that decimal 2 spots. So it should be 0.07. 4 years is my time. That is what goes in there. Then it's just a matter of typing that into my calculator. Let me make that smaller so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm typing that in, 20,000. Parentheses, 1 plus 0.07. All to the 4th power, type it in, hit enter. $26,215.92. What was it, 26? 26 what? 215? And how many cents? Thank you. There's my answer. That one's not a tough one. Hopefully we can handle that. Remember, if they're giving you a graph and you're trying to do the inverse, write down the ordered pairs. Like that ordered pair right there is -3, 0. So when I graph the inverse of that, it's 0, -3. That's what that point is. Okay, and you just got to keep going. You might not be great at ordered pairs, but that's what you're trying to do. That ordered pair right there is at -5, 2. So I'm going to 2, -5, which is that dot right there. And you're going to keep going until you got them all. So that point right there is -1, 2. So I'm going to 2, -1. Make my dots, connect the lines, I get that parabola right there. That one's going up, the other one's going sideways. Questions on number 4. Number 6, this purple line is 4 to the x power. Remember, they always pretty much look the same. Don't get too creative. It's always close to that line but not touching, taking off, and then exploding through the top. Then the blue line is the inverse of that, log base 4 of x. Remember, you're just taking the points and flipping them. So that point right there is 0, 1. So I graphed 1, 0. And that point right there is 1, 4. And that point right there is 4, 1. They always kind of look the same. I made an XY chart over here if I needed it. Or I didn't make it on this one, but I could have made an XY chart. And then I finished from there. Questions on 6? Let's do one more here, and then I'll let you work some more. Let's look at number 10. Or number 7. Sorry, number 7. No, 8. Sorry, we're doing evens. Look at number 8. Should have gotten 1/4. Some people got 0.25. It's the same thing. All right, so this is the one like in bell work. 125 and 25. I rewrote them both to be a base of 5. 5 cubed, and 5 squared. The 5's canceled, and I distributed in that 2. Make sure you distribute it to both parts. Or the other thing you could have done is take log base 25 on both sides, because that would have gotten rid of my 25. And on the other side, we would have gotten a decimal, but that's our starting point there. That looks just like the one we did in Bellwork. Questions on 8. Keep going with it, and I'm going to answer some more questions, but I want you to work for a few more minutes.